Good morning, America. ICE anger across the nation. Thousands of people taking to the streets denouncing immigration crackdowns. From New York to Philadelphia to Los Angeles, rallies protesting the killing of Renee Good. We are live in Minneapolis with the latest on the investigation.
Unrest in Iran. The new video of flare-ups overnight as thousands take to the streets protesting against the theocratic regime. President Trump's message of support and his warning to the leaders of Iran.
A break in the case. Police say they've made an arrest in the killings of a dentist and his wife in their Ohio home. Her ex-husband suspected. The evidence, police say, links him to the crime.
Nurses on track to walk out. A massive strike possible just hours from now. 16,000 nurses at New York City hospitals prepared to hit the picket line. Why they're threatening to strike.
Remembering a rock icon. Grateful Dead co-founder Bob Weir, a guitarist, a singer, and songwriter. A look at his life on the road making unforgettable music.
Wildcard Weekend.
The Bears win it in a crazy one.
The Bears with a come-from-behind thriller. The Rams outlast the Panthers.
Parkinson, what a catch!
The action, the highlights, the upsets, and the matchups on deck.
Live from ABC News headquarters in New York City, it's Sunday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, America, especially good morning to Chicago.
Yeah, it's a big victory.
It was a big victory.
No bad news, Bears.
No bad news, Bears. Great NFL wildcard action overnight. The Bears securing their 7th comeback win of the season, and the Rams advancing as well. We've got highlights from both games coming up.
Oh, we are looking forward to that. Also ahead, more on that possible strike by more than 10,000 nurses here in New York City. It could be the largest nurse walkout ever in the city.
But we do begin here in Minneapolis with a nationwide protest erupting after that deadly shooting by an ICE agent, intensifying America's divide and now growing calls for accountability. Morgan Norwood joins us live in Minneapolis with the latest. Morgan, good morning.
Well, good morning. That's right. Those protests growing louder overnight. And here in Minneapolis, the epicenter, thousands marching and rallying in the snow, calling for accountability. And as ICE surges more agents here to Minneapolis, there's growing pressure for lawmakers now to step in. From New York to Durham, Philadelphia, and Los Angeles, demonstrators are demanding an end to ICE operations and rallying for justice after the killing of 37-year-old mom of 3, Renee Nicole Good. Chopper video over Minneapolis showing thousands flooding city streets.
We've been telling them to get out. They're not leaving. They are not wanted here. They are not making our community safer.
Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent last week. And now how that shooting is being investigated is at the center of the outrage. The FBI taking over the probe. President Trump seemingly acknowledging that the agency is not sharing evidence with Minnesota state officials who are now seeking their own investigation.
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials.
The lack of access is extending beyond state officials. Saturday, Representatives Ilhan Omar, Angie Craig, and Kelly Morrison say they were denied access to an ICE facility.
What happened today is a blatant attempt to obstruct members of Congress from doing their oversight duties.
DHS says the denial was procedural, citing a new directive requiring members of Congress to give 7 days notice before visiting ICE facilities, a rule the agency says is meant to address security concerns amid what the agency describes as escalating protest and political violence. As questions mount over transparency, this cell phone video of the moments leading up to those fatal shots still drawing intense scrutiny.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
Reportedly taken by ICE agent Jonathan Ross, accused of shooting and killing Renee Good. He fires 3 shots, including one through the windshield. Good's vehicle then slams into a parked car. The Trump administration insisting that the agent acted in self-defense, but Minneapolis officials pushing back and demanding ICE leave the city.
If this was about safety, you wouldn't do stupid things like that. If somebody's going to get hurt, somebody has gotten killed.
And some lawmakers are calling for the suspension of these ICE operations, these raids, others even going as far as wanting to defund the agency altogether or pushing for Kristi Noem's impeachment. Janae?
All right, Morgan Norwood, our thanks to you for your reporting there. And as those anti-ICE protests were happening across the U.S., President Trump was threatening Iran's leaders over their crackdown on 2 weeks of anti-government protests there. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang is in Washington with more. Good morning, Selena.
And good morning to you, Janae. What's happening in Iran is remarkable. These are some of the biggest protests that the country has seen in years. And President Trump is making it clear that he's siding with the demonstrators, warning the Iranian leadership that if they kill protesters, he'll hit them where it hurts.
Overnight, protesters flooding the streets across Iran for the 14th night in a row. Masses gathering in Tehran, inundating the nation's capital as far as the eye can see. Crowds cheering around this bonfire, dancing around the flames. Chanting "Down with the dictator," blasting the regime over Iran's failing economy and soaring inflation. In this dramatic footage posted on social media, a man with what appears to be a homemade flamethrower sets a motorcyclist on fire. These protesters risking arrest and even death. The government trying to shut them down with a nationwide communications blackout, cutting off the internet, cell service, and phone lines. As the crackdown intensifies, President Trump escalating his warning to the Iranian regime.
Again, I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too.
Human rights groups say dozens of protesters have been killed and thousands more arrested. Trump clarifying his threat does not mean U.S. boots on the ground.
We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts.
This morning, Iran responding to those threats, warning that if the U.S. were to strike, the U.S. and Israel would be legitimate targets of the Islamic Republic. This comes just 1 week after the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and Trump declared the U.S. is running the country. In a New York courtroom on Monday, the ousted leader and his wife pleading not guilty to drug and weapons charges. Maduro telling the judge he was kidnapped in Caracas. Now Trump is warning the U.S. could take similar action against Colombia and is threatening land strikes on drug cartels that he claims are running Mexico. In response, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum tasking her foreign minister with strengthening coordination with the United States. Trump pressed this week on whether there's any limits to his global powers.
Yeah, there's one thing, my own morality. My own mind. It's the only thing that can stop. I don't need international law. I'm not looking to hurt people.
And we're learning from an Israeli official that Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke with Secretary of State Marco Rubio this weekend about what's happening in Iran. And remember, Gio, it was just a couple of weeks ago when Trump met with Netanyahu at Mar-a-Lago, where Trump promised that the U.S. would back Israeli strikes on Iran if Iran continues with its nuclear program. Gio.
So much to watch around the world. Selena Wang, thank you for your reporting. Let's go ahead and bring in ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz, who's going to be hosting This Week later this morning here on ABC. Martha, good to see you. Let's start with President Trump's threats to Iran. What are your sources saying about how serious those are?
Well, certainly they would look at targets no matter what. There's always a target list, but this is very, very different. Things in Iran are rarely out of control with protests. I've spent a good deal of time in Iran. Those protests are normally pro-regime. I've been in the middle of a few of those, but not like this. We saw that a couple of years ago, and they eventually took care of that, and those protests died down. These are really huge, and as Selena said, it is really a remarkable sight. But the question is, what good would bombing do? Now, the regime has really never been threatened with this before, and how they would react. We've heard how they would react, but they really didn't have a reaction 6 months ago when the U.S. and Israel bombed those nuclear sites. So the big question is here, what would they hit? Probably some sort of military targets. And really, would that quell the regime's efforts to stop those violent protests? So this is really something to watch in the coming weeks to see what happens on the ground there, because they are indeed risking their lives every time they go out on those streets in Iran, and the regime is trying to double down and stop them. And then you hear President Trump enter as well.
Yeah, but as you said, stunning images there out of Iran. Martha, let's turn to the ICE shooting in Minneapolis. It appears to be yet another thing dividing this nation. People are seeing the videos very differently depending on politics, right?
They sure are, Gio. And you look at those videos, you look at those different angles, and we've heard from so many people, the line seems stark. We've heard senior U.S. officials, including President Trump and J.D. Vance, say they saw what they saw and that the shooting was justified. And then the other side calling it murder. So there is a very clear divide on what people are seeing in that video and whether they think it is justified. And those protests, as you know, Gio, are growing.
And I know you're going to be covering the law enforcement angle very heavily this morning on This Week. Martha Raddatz, thank you so much. And tune into This Week later. Martha has exclusive interviews with Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota about that deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis, and with Republican Senator Rand Paul about reining in further U.S. military action in Venezuela.
Gio, now to the major development and an arrest in the killings of an Ohio dentist and his wife. Her ex-husband now facing charges. ABC's Olivia Rubin joins us now with new details. Olivia, good morning.
Wait, good morning. A heartbreaking turn in a case that has shocked so many. Police now say a lengthy investigation led them to their suspect over 400 miles away. This morning, a stunning arrest in the murder of an Ohio dentist, Spencer Tepe, and his wife, Monique, after they were found gunned down in their Columbus home just before New Year's Eve. Police now arresting 39-year-old Michael David McKee, Monique's ex-husband, charging him with the gruesome crime. According to a police affidavit, surveillance footage helped investigators identify McKee after they say it showed a car arrived just prior to the homicides and left shortly after. Police say they soon found that car in Rockford, Illinois, over 400 miles away, with evidence linking it back to McKee. Court records obtained by our affiliate WSYX show Monique was married to McKee in 2015, divorcing in 2017, saying they were incompatible. For more than a week, a manhunt for a suspect. Columbus police releasing this surveillance footage of a person of interest seen walking in the alley near the home during the time frame of the murders between 2 and 5 a.m. A concerned friend coming to the home when Spencer Tepe didn't show up for work, spotting the 37-year-old in the bedroom in a pool of blood. Their 2 young children still inside unharmed.
There's a body. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood.
The Tepe family releasing a statement thanking law enforcement, writing in part, "Monique and Spencer remain at the center of our hearts, and we carry forward their love as we surround and protect the 2 children they leave behind." And McKee is now facing 2 counts of murder and will make his first appearance in court tomorrow. But still so many questions here about the motive, as Columbus police say they are still actively investigating this case, guys.
Quite a turn in this story, Olivia. Thank you. Well, this morning we are hours away from what could be a historic strike by 16,000 nurses here in New York City. ABC's Ike Chachi has the latest. Good morning, Ike. A lot of people watching this.
That's right, Janae. Good morning. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has issued an executive order declaring a disaster emergency as nearly 16,000 nurses at some of New York City's largest private hospitals gear up to go on strike tomorrow. A source telling ABC News that the nurses are expected to walk out around 6 a.m. Monday at several city hospitals, including New York Presbyterian, Mount Sinai Hospital, Mount Sinai West, Morningside, and Montefiore Einstein. Now, the union's 3-year contract with 12 New York City hospitals expired at the end of last year. Now, the nurses union is pushing for better staffing ratios, protection of benefits, pay increases, and stronger workplace security guarantees, pointing to recent shootings at city hospitals. At the same time, the union says it reached tentative agreements with several New York City safety net hospitals last week, with some facilities already rescinding strike notices after reaching deals. Officials and hospital leaders stress patients should not avoid or delay seeking help for medical emergencies. Hospitals will remain open and prepared to offer care even if a strike goes forward. Now, Governor Hochul is urging both both sides to stay at the table until the issues are resolved. Gio?
Okay, Ike, let's hope they resolve that very quickly. All right, to the NFL Wildcard Weekend now, and a couple of great games overnight. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is here with all the highlights. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Gio. Both games last night really put the Wild in Wildcard Weekend. The start of the NFL playoffs did not disappoint.
The Bears win it in a crazy one.
A nail-biting night wrapping up the start of NFL Wildcard Weekend. One of the NFL's oldest rivalries, the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears.
Love throwing, open court.
Green Bay and Jordan Love taking control from the start, scoring all 3 touchdowns in the first half. But the Bears, down by 15 points going into the fourth, clawing back late in the game.
Fires caught, touchdown!
Quarterback Caleb Williams narrowing the gap after throwing this touchdown, followed by a 2-point conversion with just over 4 minutes left on the clock.
Throws caught! 2 points.
The Bears trailing by just 3 points. Green Bay looking to extend their lead with a field goal.
And the kick is no good.
But kicker Brandon McManus making a crucial miss after already missing an extra point earlier in the quarter.
Williams throwing, and it's caught for the touchdown.
Finally, this touchdown caught by wide receiver DJ Moore sealing the deal. The Bears outscoring Green Bay 31-27 to cap off a wild comeback victory. Chicago scoring 25 of those points in the fourth alone.
Stafford has Williams. Kyron Williams puts the Rams back in front.
Earlier in the day, the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford looking to avenge a regular season loss against the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young, and they got an early start.
Going end zone, poking a coin just like that. Los Angeles is on the board.
LA getting on the board first with a touchdown in the first quarter. Carolina behind for much of the first half, but tying things up with a third quarter field goal.
Ryan Fitzgerald in his first postseason kick has tied the game.
The Panthers later taking the lead with a touchdown early in the fourth, trying to hold on through the finish, but it wasn't enough.
Going towards the end zone, Parkinson! What a catch! And a touchdown!
With just 38 seconds left in the game, this touchdown caught by Colby Parkinson, pushing the Rams past the Panthers and helping Los Angeles secure the win 34-31.
And we've got a whole host of other playoff games starting today at 1 p.m., wrapping with Texans-Steelers on Monday night, right here on ABC.
We got my Niners later, too.
That's right.
Philly. Against Philly. It's going to be a tough one. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it.
Now to Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend. ABC's Will Gans is at the finish line for all the action in today's full 26.2-mile race. Will, good morning. You must be having a magical morning.
I am having a magical morning, but Janae, all of the training, all of the costume designing, all of the planning for this marathon weekend at Disney World has been leading up to this moment right here. We are at the finish line of the marathon, and today's 26.2-mile race takes athletes through every single park here at Disney World. Plus, this race is a qualifier for the Boston Marathon. So some runners will be putting in PRs here at the finish line. The first place finisher is an American. He came in under 2.5 hours just a few moments ago. And other runners will be stopping for photos with characters along the route. And some will even ride rides in the theme park, which will be a break for the legs maybe, but probably not for the adrenaline. Now, Run Disney is one of the largest race organizations in the country with around 170,000 runners each season. And this weekend, it's been a reunion for so many folks who met at previous races and reunited here to run together this weekend. And the sense of community, of fitness, and of fun has been so palpable since we arrived midweek, you guys.
Yeah, it's so incredible. And Will, I got to ask you about this because you've been following 4 dopey challenge runners throughout the weekend, and that means they ran in the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, and this morning's marathon. How are they holding up?
Okay, so I'll talk first about Lee and Parker. This is a mother-daughter duo from Mobile, Alabama. They were sharing with me that yesterday, when they came into Magic Kingdom and saw the castle for the first time, they burst into tears. That's the kind of emotion that they are bringing to the race, along with those fabulous outfits that you're looking at. Then there's Mo, who brought his own cold plunge pool so that he would be able to recover before today's marathon. He's doing great as well. And then last but not least, Heather. She said she was outfitted with a new adaptive racing chair before today's marathon, and she is so excited to use that this morning as well. So they are doing great, to answer succinctly, y'all.
Those pictures are unbelievable. Hey, Will, what's your biggest takeaway this weekend?
What I'm taking away from this weekend is the reminder that running can and should be fun. I think so often as a runner myself, I get in my head about what my time is meant to be and how fast I need to be going. And then I come here and I meet people who are here to make friends, to have a good time, to take some incredible photos. So what I'm taking away from this weekend is, one, that I'm doing the Dopey Challenge next year. I'm saying it right here and right now. And two, that running can be fun.
Oh my God! I can't wait to see what his costume.
I was
is
just
gonna
going to
be.
say,
Right?
yeah.
Will, you've had way too much fun this weekend. Come on back to New York, will you?
All right, y'all, I will.
All right, thank you. And still ahead here, caught on camera, 2 skiers caught in an avalanche, one buried under the snow. We're going to tell you what happened next.
Plus, ESPN's coach Herm Edwards is back with us this morning with his read on NFL Wildcard Weekend action.
And remembering one of the founding members of one of rock and roll's greatest bands, the Grateful Dead's Bob Weir. Stick around. Welcome back to GMA on this Sunday morning. Let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we are following. The State Department is warning U.S. citizens to leave Venezuela immediately, citing reports that groups of armed militias are setting up roadblocks and searching vehicles for evidence of American citizenship or support for the U.S. Some Americans have been stranded in Venezuela ever since the U.S. shut down airspace there.
New Mexico authorities issuing an arrest warrant for actor and director Timothy Busfield. Police say the charges include criminal sexual contact of a minor and child abuse. The acts allegedly happened on the set of the TV series The Cleaning Lady.
And look at the snowboarders caught on camera, carried away in an avalanche. It happened in Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. One snowboarder triggering the avalanche, another caught and carried, unbelievable, then briefly buried in the snow. A third snowboarder was caught in a slide as he tried to help. Thankfully, though, all 3 are fine. Wow. Thank goodness.
They are very fortunate to be okay.
Yeah.
All right, now to those explosive NFL wildcard games. ESPN analyst, our buddy Herm Edwards, is back this morning with the picks, the predictions, and which teams have the winning edge. Coach, good morning to you. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. You were here in person, but thanks for presenting our friend Gio with the trophy.
Yeah, he's gloating right now, but it's okay.
Yeah, he's been reminding me all morning. So let's get to the first 2 wild card games. They were played yesterday. Both comeback Bears and the Rams. They're moving on. Which team surprised you the most?
Neither. And I said yesterday I thought the Rams would win, and obviously the Bears. And you can't say enough about the play of Matthew Stafford in the fourth quarter. You know, going into this game, he threw he had 46 touchdown passes. He throws 3 again yesterday. And this guy right here, number 12. The play of the game for the Rams was Nakua when he defended a pass in the end zone that was intended for him and knocked it away. Would have been an interception. He knocks it away, and that was the play of the game for me. That saved the Rams. But Matthew Stafford was spectacular yesterday. This one right here, right?
I love that he asked you which game surprised you, and you said neither. I called both of them. Good job, Coach. And the first game today has the Bills traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Who are you liking in that one?
Well, I tell you, I'm a Josh Allen fan. But Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence, they're playing outstanding football right now. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo. They have a lot of playoff experience.
Shot to the end zone.
Trevor Lawrence has not had a lot of experience thus far in his career, you know, but all of a sudden he finds himself in a position to beat one of the best teams in football as far as playoff experience, and that's the Buffalo Bills. It wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. They're playing at home, and he's playing outstanding right now. Trevor Lawrence, when you watch him, plays a lot like Josh Allen, can run, make plays on the run, using his legs. So this is going to be a very good football game.
Yeah, it will. All right, the next game features the Eagles and Witt's 49ers. And my expert winning analysis reminds you that both teams have struggled with inconsistency and injuries this year. Who you got?
Oh, boy. This is a hard one. It really is. I think if the Eagles are going to win this game, they have to stop number 23, McCaffrey. If you can't stop him, that is the 49ers offense. He has 1,000 yards rushing. He has 1,000 yards catching the football. He is the guy. And obviously Purdy can make some plays, but it all starts with number 23. Now, on the other side of it, if you're the Eagles, we talked about it a little bit yesterday when I was in there. They got to stop with this pothole offense they have. In other words, they play good for a while, and then all of a sudden the offense hits a pothole, and it doesn't show up for a quarter. They're going to have to play 4 quarters against San Francisco to win this game, and number 26 is going to have to be a big part of it.
Okay, I can't wait to watch that one. It's going to be a big one. Bit nervous today. All right, let's turn, though, to the red-hot Patriots. They're led by young quarterback Drake May. They welcome Justin Herbert and the Chargers. Who's got the edge in this one?
I'm going to say the Patriots at home. They're a very sound football team. They don't get enough credit for their defense. They're a physical team as well. And this young quarterback, he's playing outstanding. I mean, look, this Patriot team, China just keeps winning games. We don't talk about them a lot. They won 14 games. They're playing at home. The New England fans are all of a sudden excited again. Now, I'll tell you what, he's not Captain America. There's only one Captain America, and when I say Captain America, that's Tom Brady. He might be a little more athletic, but he's not Captain America, but he's playing really good for him.
There's only one Captain America. And the Monday night game, Coach, the Texans visit the Steelers. Who's your pick?
Oh, boy. This is a hard one here. This is all about Aaron Rodgers. This is why the Steelers went and got Aaron Rodgers, to play in games like this. Now, here's the problem with the Texans. You can't score any points. They're the best scoring defense in the National Football League, and they can rush the passer. They can hit the passer. So this is a hard game for Pittsburgh. This Texans defense is outstanding. If they win, I would not be surprised.
So that means you're picking the Texans? Who you picking?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin. But I'm not, you know, I wouldn't bet a whole lot on that.
Well, thankfully, Who's with Herm's over. There's a winner. We don't need to do this anymore. We're good to go. Coach, thank you so much.
We're just having fun now. It's the playoffs.
That's right. Exactly. And as always, you can catch the Texans and the Steelers Monday night right here on ABC at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, time now for the weather. Let's go back to WABC chief meteorologist and passionate Patriots fan, Lee Goldberg.
Oh, look at him.
Oh, wow. That is good. That outfit's changed. Yeah, you're in Boston. You're going to the game tonight, right?
There are wheels in motion. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If anybody's selling tickets, we'll send them your way.
I'll have the one fingers up. That's exactly right. All right, so we have drizzle now in the Boston area, but we're going to get a lot colder later. In Jacksonville, maybe a shower for early tailgaters, but after that, partly cloudy, 64 degrees, northwest wind 13, gearing toward cloudy. A lot cooler than yesterday in the 80s. Now to the north, wind's a big factor in Philly. It'll be pretty gusty. Looks like we'll stay away from any significant snowflakes, but 43, feeling more like 30s. And then tonight, Pats, it feels like 28 in Foxborough. So advantage Patriots.
Now on GMA, as we remember a rock and roll giant, Grateful Dead co-founder Bob Weir has died at the age of 78. ABC's Andrew Dimbert has a look at his life.
He was the music icon who helped transform a jam band into an American institution, embodying the sound of 1960s counterculture and spreading its spirit for more than half a century. This morning, the music world is mourning the loss of Bob Weir, guitarist, singer, songwriter, and founding force behind the Grateful Dead at 78 years old. His family sharing in a statement late Saturday, "It is with profound sadness that we share the passing of Bobby Weir. He transitioned peacefully, surrounded by loved ones, after courageously beating cancer as only Bobby could. Unfortunately, he succumbed to underlying lung issues." Weir was raised by adoptive parents in San Francisco and started playing guitar when he was 13 years old. In 1965, he joined Jerry Garcia's Jug Band, which would transform into an electric group named the Warlocks, ultimately renamed the Grateful Dead. With its blend of blues, folk, and improvisation, the Dead would reshape American rock.
We used to play for silver, now we play for life.
Galvanizing one of the most devoted fan bases in music, generations of followers known as Deadheads who would follow the band wherever they went, camping out, showing up in a sea of tie-dye, and trading their concert recordings. Weir was known for his improvisation and served as the mastermind behind some of the group's greatest classics, like Playing in the Band, Together, the band would perform over 2,300 concerts, sell over 35 million albums, and become Hall of Fame inductees, up until Garcia's death in 1995. But even after the band ended, Weir kept performing. He linked up with his former bandmates to create Dead & Company in 2015, a modern incarnation of the rock group that culminated in a final tour in 2023 and 2 residencies at the Sphere. They returned to San Francisco's Golden Gate Park last August, celebrating 60 years of the Grateful Dead in front of some 60,000 fans over 3 days.
You know what's stranger? Let's get on with the show.
Those would be Weir's final performances, played in his hometown. Unknown to the rest of the world, he had begun his cancer treatment just weeks prior. His family remembering the icon, writing that he often spoke of a 300-year legacy, determined to ensure the songbook would endure long after him. May that dream live on through future generations of Deadheads.
Bob Weir survived by his wife Natasha and his 2 daughters Monet and Chloe, guys.
I was just saying, the Grateful Dead, that was my very first concert.
Wow.
Yeah. Come from a family full of Deadheads. We got some in the studio here, too. Jeff has been to 105 shows.
Our stage
Wild.
director here,
Yeah.
director.
There he
Oh,
is.
we love it. What a legend, what a legacy. Rest in peace, Bob Weir.
Yeah.
All right, coming up here on Good Morning America, our group chat, the stories and images that got us talking this week.
Okay, we are back now with our group chat and the stories that piqued our interest this week. And I'm going to put my little space geek glasses on.
Yeah, okay. Nerd alert. Here we go.
Okay, so in season 5 of Stranger Things, right?
Yes.
A wormhole in space plays a
Yes.
major role. I'm not going to give you any spoilers right now. There's the upside down right there. But if you know, you know. I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
But the James Webb Telescope just confirmed a supermassive black hole that's literally running away from its host galaxy at 2 million miles per hour. That's an artist rendition right there of what it looks like. It turns out that the telescope was able to actually spot it because of that trail of stars that you see right there. They've been thinking this was possible for over 5 decades. Now they've got some proof. Large galaxies, including our own, have supermassive black holes in the middle, but having one ripped out like that, that's something that's unusual, and it makes you think. Stranger Things indeed.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I like
so
it.
mine is a little more back here on Earth. The Washington Post analysis of a study measuring the performance of AI on actual work assignments without outside help and compared it to the performance of a human. So this was done by the Remote Labor Index. One example was producing a digital version of a hand-drawn floor plan. This is another version that we'll show you. Using images of earbuds to create a 3D video showcasing the product's key features. The human version far surpassed the different AI models that were created. So the Post writing, the results show AI systems fall short, challenging the predictions that technology is poised to soon replace large portions of the workforce. AI systems failed on nearly half of the projects by producing poor quality work. So it's just a bit of a gut check on where AI really stands. And the study suggests that AI replacing humans for remote work is far from reality, at least for now.
We bought ourselves some time.
There we go.
I love
there
it.
We
All right,
go.
chalk one up for the humans. Okay, I got a story, a little creative escape artist here. Take a look at this. This is surveillance video. A rescue dog named Dawson slipping out of a locked kennel at a West Virginia animal shelter right here, and then actually uses his teeth to unlock the front door and then run away. Thankfully, Dawson has been found, is now safe. Obviously, they're hoping that someone will adopt Dawson very soon. You just want to make sure you check the locks at home. And speaking of rescue dogs, and I love this, this is our latest foster pup, number 30 right here. His name is Chestnut, a very sweet, very cute little terrier mix puppy from Tennessee. You know how much I love animals and trying to save as many as humanly possible. Our 30th foster dog.
Oh my God.
So Chestnut, you're on your way, buddy. I promise.
Hats off to you and Andrea,
Such
your
amazing
whole
stuff.
family.
No, thank you.
Really
Yeah,
amazing.
That's a lot,
We love
and it's
them.
great.
We love them.
Now with our play of the day and really one of my favorite videos of the week, what happens when you see your favorite Disney character? Well, this is what happened when 3-year-old Mally saw Mickey Mouse. It's so cute. Watch.
He said that's my boy. That's my boy.
Oh, Buzz, my boy. And you see Dad wipes away tears too because he gets emotional right there at his son's reaction. And Mally's trip to Disney World, it gets even better because he actually met Mickey Mouse. Wow. And there he is. He got to give him a big old hug. Oh, look at that. That's real magic right there.
I love that so much. That's my boy right there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.